Okay, I decided to do a recording because I was asked if I would put my side of things out there in regards to controller. Because the person that asked me was a moderator like myself and a previous moderator like myself. And both of us have, well, not so much fallen out with her as such, but we have seen how things have gotten, and it's not gotten good for controller whatsoever or her daughter. Um, I started watching Controller probably January, February last year when she was recapping various IP2 things. Plus, she was also doing a recap on some British woman called Kay, Cooking with Kay. And this was a bad cook. It was kind of funny to watch, and I did enjoy watching that actually. And I stuck around and watched her and supported her and felt that she was being victimized because I didn't know the true controller that a lot of people had already seen and the controller that I now see. And I'm not the only one that can see it now. And I used to go into bat for her because I felt that she was being victimized. Well, I since learned that she's not really the victim as such. She causes a lot of it. I also stopped watching her probably in, it might have been August, September, because she was starting to drive around. And I noticed she was driving around with her mobile phone on and looking at her mobile phone and speaking with people through chat and streaming and driving distracted, which I knew was a big, big no-no. It's a big, big no-no in Australia. I also saw her smoking weed while driving, which I also knew was a big no, big, big no-no. It's a big, big no-no in Australia. And if she was in Australia, she would be caught out doing that because they do drink and drug testing on people at any time. And all they'd have to do was swab her mouth. And if she tested positive for cannabis, they would book her and she would lose her license. I don't know what the laws are in America in various states of America, so I can't really comment on that. And to say, I stopped watching it, and I also knew that you couldn't tell her because I'd already seen someone else tell her, someone else that was quite close to her at the time, and would go him to bat for her, like myself. So I stopped watching her. Then we got to probably November, December, and I thought I'd start watching her again to see how she was going. She got herself a job, and I said to her, "Don't stream while you're working because I figured people are going to know where you're working and they're going to perhaps dob you in or report you or whatever you say or rat on you." And anyway, she lost the job because she probably broke the guidelines of the job. And she did stream it, which I told her not to do. And that was obviously one of the things that probably cost her that job. And I also noticed that she was getting very bitter on people who were making money, who were being supported by people that she didn't like. And she's like, "Oh, why are you all supporting these people when they're doing this, this, and this, and all that? And, I'm the good mum. This one's the bad mum. And I'm not scamming people, but this one's scamming people." And we got to the accident, in January. Now, I didn't see the accident in January when it happened live because I was in bed being in Australia, so different time zone. By the time I got up and started watching YouTube, things had been deleted. Now, I know people were saying that she was doing this and she was doing that. But I didn't fully believe them because I hadn't actually seen it with my own eyes. But I have seen the footage now, and I do believe these people. And I also saw the charges. But what got me was I told her in an email, and I was being very supportive of her when I saw what the charges were. I told her perhaps she should get off the internet and stop streaming for her own mental health. And she said, "Oh, no, I'm just going to sit behind the desk." Well, that didn't last very long because she was back in the car doing everything that she was doing when she got herself into that accident. And I also noticed that she was denying that there was ever an accident and denying accountability for what she'd done. And she's still doing it right now. Now, I'm not going to get too much into what her legal issues are at the moment because that's not my place. And the other thing is, I can't believe that there's people out there after what has happened that are sitting there in her chat, watching her almost getting into accidents, quite possibly even maybe she will harm another person. She was lucky that she didn't harm her daughter, herself, or the other driver. But I've watched her pull out from a stop sign after cutting past a van, getting into a position with a bus where people getting off the bus could have been hurt. She nearly hit a pedestrian the other day. And, I think, well, if some of you, and I know the previous mod that I speak to has said the same thing, if you know where she is, you know what her registration number is of the vehicle that she's driving in and the vehicle that she's driving in, why don't some of you people report her? Because the way she's going to get herself into another accident. It's only a matter of time, unless the courts do something. I can't believe that they did not take her license away when she got into that accident in January. I guess she didn't get enough demerit points at the time. That's my only theory. So I just wanted to put this out there, and this is a pre-recording thing because I figured I'd do it this way because I don't know whether or not I'd get a word in if we did it through a panel in some way because I do have anxiety. And speaking's not always easy for me. Typing's easier. Being in live chat's easier. But I don't know, getting up here may not be so easy. But I'm going to give it a go and see how I go with it doing this. Okay, bye.